So even when she's checking everything, me, I'm seeing like everything is okay. So she checked, she was like, this is the head of the baby, this is the position, blah, blah. And then she told me, she paused, and then she told me, Mercy, unfortunately, we do not have fetal activity. I remember just breaking down. I didn't ask anything, but I remember I cried so much, and I saw Mans just walk out. He went and cried uko nyuma, and then he came back. The docs told me that we're going to induce you because we want you to give birth immediately, and then so that we don't hold you here for long, because it's not going to be an easy journey, because where the wards are, it's next to the nursery. You know, hospitals don't have a room for angel moms, which is something I've been trying to address. So I was induced that evening, and I went now into hard labor. So when I was induced the next morning, a family friend who works at Mpisha came to see me. She told me Dad had sent her to come, just tell me everything will be okay, me and baby will be okay. So I told her, no, we lost the baby, there's no fetal activity. She was like, but your dad told me something different. So that is when it dawned on me, my dad was in denial. Why? So now I learned later when they came to see me that mom had lost her baby before me. I'm the firstborn. So she had lost the baby before me, it was a boy, but we've never heard of it, because I only know of the baby mom lost before our lastborn. She had lost another baby. So dad was afraid of me going through what I think mom went through that time. That's why he was in denial. And I remember he also thought they had neglected me, because he came guns blazing to the hospital. Oh, mulimwachilia, oh, kwa nini hamkufanya? But when I gave birth, because I remember I pushed the baby at around, I think 2 p.m. the next day. Yes, the next day. That's why I was telling you I really wanted to push. I was very confident in my body. Yeah. So I pushed the baby at around 2 p.m. The skin had changed, it was almost white. So the doctor told me she had either died a day or 2 days before. I've had so many highs in my life, but losing my baby was the lowest moment of my life. I have lost friends and family close to me, but it is nothing compared to the pain I felt that day. I asked God so many questions that evening. I asked him, why did you let me carry the baby to 34 weeks and then just take her? Because I'm not saying those who lose early is any better, but this was a full baby. I just had so much battle and so many questions with God. That night, if anyone was listening, I asked him so many questions. So I pushed the baby at around 2 p.m. The skin had changed, it was almost white. So the doctor told me she had either died a day or 2 days before. So there were questions of, did you feel fetal activity jana or juicy? And I told them, yeah, I could feel. But I think it was psychological, because even after giving birth, I could still feel those butterfly kicks So they told me maybe it was just the normal, because ulikuwa umezoea, you could also feel. Then later it dawned on me, there was a day I woke up and the whole womb was on like one side. Nikiamka ina move to the other side. But it didn't dawn. Again, nobody thinks a baby will die. That's the last thing you'd think. So pushing a stillbirth was also very... It's also very sad. It's very... because everyone wants the baby to cry. But I thank there was a nurse called Mary and the doctor Mina. They allowed me to stay with my baby. Yeah. So they wrapped her, they placed her on my chest. We've not grown up knowing how to handle death and grief in Kenya and Africa. So I thought staying with a baby would prolong my grief. If I had gone through this conversation before, I'd have stayed with my baby even the whole night and then allow them to either dispose the baby or even have arrangements for myself. Because they also asked me, do you have any any arrangements. I was like, I just found out yesterday. How dare you ask me if I have any burial arrangements for my child? I told them, no, I don't. So they explained to me that for them, it is city mortuary that comes and collects the babies and then they dispose on their behalf. And I told them that would be okay for me. So I went into that labor room with a friend who had gone through the same. So she's the only one. She's the first one I called after my dad. So I called her very early in the morning. Her name is Caroline. Caroline had lost her baby also at 34 weeks. And she just held me as I cried. She affirmed everything I was feeling on that day, at that moment. And I felt that it was important for me to go through that with her. When the lady from City Mortuary came, so the door is somewhere like where you are and the bed is here. So I was just crying. So she came and knocked and she asked, Mercy, my name is Mercy. Mercy, nikamwambia ya, akanirushia the receipt. The one you signed for them to dispose. Yeah, by the way, she threw it. CJ sahau, which was very insensitive of her. Maybe also of the hospital, because I think they ought to do it in a different way, in a better way. This is a very sensitive period for a woman who's just lost. So hata sikuichukua. I think my sister is the one who came next, akachukua akanipatia. It had the baby's details, the time of birth and all that. And then she left with a black bag. I've never forgotten, my baby was carried in a black garbage bag.